Have you ever just found yourself totally hooked? Watching those strategic games play out on some, like, beautiful island, or maybe getting completely lost in the drama, the fancy lives of those housewives.
Oh, definitely. It's hard not to get pulled in, right? They create these worlds that just grab you.
They really do. But do you ever stop and think about what actually goes into making those worlds? Like the decisions behind who we see, and maybe even how these shows reflect, or, I don't know, even shape how we see things.
That's exactly the core of it. What goes on behind the scenes before the cameras even roll.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, the fascinating, always changing world of reality TV casting. We'll kick things off looking at the new season of Survivor, season 49. It's coming up, highly anticipated.
And it's got this interesting role, sort of a bridge to the big 5-0, the 50th season.
Exactly. We'll look at who's actually hitting the beach this time. But, our mission today isn't just about who's on the screen.
No, it's the how. How did they get there? And what does that mean? We're talking about things like those big diversity initiatives, especially on Survivor.
Yeah, and how fans react to all that. Sometimes agreeing, sometimes, well, not so much.
Then we'll switch gears a bit, look at another giant, the Real Housewives. Almost 2 decades of that franchise. How have their casting choices created these, cultural icons?
It's going to be interesting. You might get some aha moments about shows you thought you knew inside out. Maybe see why they stick with us.
Totally. It's like peeking behind the curtain, isn't it? Seeing the blueprint. It's not just editing magic, it's who they choose in the first place. That selection process tells you so much.
It really does. About what the producers want, the kind of psychological stuff they're exploring, and, yeah, how it taps into bigger cultural things happening.
It's the starting point, the DNA, like you said, where the whole reality TV story gets its first spark.
Absolutely. It's the foundation. Okay, let's get into it. Segment 1, Survivor 49, this bridge to a massive milestone. Fans are buzzing, obviously.
Yep, latest season of the classic CBS hit. Jeff Probst back at the helm, naturally.
It kicks off Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. You can watch it on CBS or stream it on Paramount Plus Cap. And, yeah, it promises all of the usual Survivor good stuff.
Alliances, blindsides, those crazy challenges that look impossible.
Totally. But, and this is the kicker, it's not just another season.
Right. This is where the strategy behind the show gets fascinating. It's being deliberately framed as this milestone buildup.
A lead-in to the big 50th season.
Exactly. It's not just a standalone chapter. Think of it like a prologue. They're setting the stage, maybe even finding future all-stars right here in season 49.
So the people playing now could be back very soon for something even bigger.
That seems to be the plan. Probst and the producers are hinting at fresh twists, maybe even surprises, that directly connect 49 to 50.
Wow. Okay, so the stakes are even higher than just winning the million this time. It's about maybe getting a shot at becoming a Survivor legend.
It's smart, right? Keeps the audience invested not just week to week, but in the whole franchise long term. Makes every move feel weightier.
Definitely adds another layer. So speaking of these potential future legends, let's talk about the cast. 18 new faces.
From all over the U.S. and Canada, diverse backgrounds, which Survivor always aims for. But there's that extra casting twist this season that really changes the game.
Right. It's not just about trying to win this season.
No, this is huge. 2, count them, 2 contestants are guaranteed a spot on season 50, like a golden ticket.
Whoa. Okay, that changes everything. Strategically, I mean.
Completely. Every challenge, every tribal council, every conversation suddenly has this added pressure. You're not just playing for the million now.
You're playing for a shot at another million, maybe becoming a 2-time player, joining that elite club.
Exactly. So you might be thinking, okay, is this person a threat now? Or are they someone I can maybe work with in season 50? It adds this whole future game dimension.
Man, my head's spinning just thinking about it. And the cast itself, you mentioned diverse backgrounds. What kind of mix are we looking at?
Well, it's that classic Survivor blend, but maybe curated with an eye towards that future season 2. You've got your former athletes, ex-military types.
The ones bringing the physical strength, the discipline, often good in challenges, maybe sometimes struggle with the social subtleties.
Right. Then you have the sort of everyday heroes, the teachers, nurses, community leaders, people with maybe high emotional intelligence, underestimated social skills.
The ones who can build those strong bonds.
Exactly. And then, of course, the entrepreneurs, the people who maybe even applied because they love reality TV. They're often very aware of the cameras, the narrative.
The ones likely to make those big flashy moves to get noticed.
Precisely. It's about creating that ecosystem, that mix of personalities and approaches that guarantees conflict, shifting alliances, and just compelling TV. It's social engineering in a way.
Okay, let's put some names to these roles. Who are some of the people we should be watching out for among the men?
Well, you've got Alex Moore. He's 27, a political communications director from D.C.
Okay, political comms. That screams strategy, narrative control, maybe smooth talking, potential mastermind.
Could be. Then there's Jake Latimer, 36, a correctional officer from Alberta, Canada. Think about the skills there. Reading people, managing conflict, spotting lies.
Yeah, someone probably very observant, used to high-stakes situations.
Yeah.
Then there's Stephen Rahm, 35, a rocket scientist from Denver.
A rocket scientist.
I know. That suggests, like, pure logic, analytical thinking. Maybe less focused on the social game. Fascinating contrast to the political guy.
Totally. And you also have Matt Williams, 52, an airport ramp agent from Utah. Maybe brings more of a grounded life experience, no-nonsense vibe. Could be an unexpected social player.
That's a great mix just there. What about the women?
Okay, so there's Kimberly Annie Davis, 49, a musician from Austin. Creative type, maybe connects emotionally, could be unpredictable.
Interesting. And Nicole Mazzullo, 26, a financial crime consultant from Philly.
Financial crime consultant. So someone who literally looks for deception for a living, sharp mind, probably good at spotting inconsistencies.
Definitely. Then Sophie Bellardi, 27, an entrepreneur from Miami. Business sense, drive, maybe a risk taker.
And Savannah Louie, 31, former reporter from Atlanta, knows how to observe, ask questions, get to the story. Invaluable skills in Survivor.
You can really see how they pick these people for potential clashes and alliances. It's not random at all.
Not in the slightest. Each background suggests a different way of playing the game, different strengths, different potential storylines.
So beyond this cast and the golden ticket, what else makes season 49 feel unique? We talked about the bridge to 50.
Well, yeah, those intentionally diverse cast dynamics are key, designed to create that unpredictability viewers love. It's not just checking boxes, it's about sparking fireworks.
But they also mentioned something about a back-to-basics feel.
Right. Interestingly, Probst has teased that. A focus on classic Survivor, the survival aspect, the core strategy, maybe fewer of the really complex new era twists.
Okay. But still promising shocks.
Oh, definitely. They know they need those shocking twists to keep it exciting. It feels like they're trying to blend the old school appeal with the new era energy, especially leading into the anniversary.
It's a smart play. Appeal to longtime fans with the nostalgia. Keep the newer fans engaged with the drama and the stakes. Seems like they're really threading the needle.
Exactly. It feels like both a culmination of where Survivor is now and a setup for where it's going. The fan excitement is definitely there because of that blend.
Yeah, you can feel the anticipation building. Okay, so Survivor's clearly thinking strategically about his future, not just with gameplay, but with casting for longevity. But this whole idea of casting evolution, it goes much deeper, especially with Survivor.
Oh, absolutely. There was a huge shift, a really pivotal moment that changed how they cast forever.
Which brings us to our next segment, Survivor's diversity journey. It's fascinating because 2020 was huge for Survivor, right? 25 years on air, but also a turning point off screen.
Precisely. You have to remember the context of 2020. The Black Lives Matter movement was gaining massive momentum, sparking conversations everywhere.
Right, and within the Survivor world.
A group of Black former contestants formed the Soul Survivors organization. They put out a petition, made some real noise, calling for anti-racist changes within the show, more diversity on screen, behind the scenes, the works.
And CBS listened.
They did. CBS implemented a major mandate across all their reality shows, Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race.
The 50% rule.
Exactly. At least 50% of the cast had to be Black, Indigenous, and people of color, BIPOC. It was a direct response to that cultural moment and the pressure from alumni.
And that just happened to line up with the start of Survivor's new era.
Yeah.
After the pandemic break, season 41 onwards.
Perfect timing, yeah. So the game changed with the shorter format, new twists, and the faces playing it changed fundamentally because of this network-wide diversity mandate.
So how has that actually played out? What's the impact been from the perspective of the people doing the casting?
Well, Jesse Tannenbaum, he's the Emmy-nominated casting director for Survivor and those other big CBS shows. He's offered some really interesting thoughts, especially now because there's been recent news.
About Paramount, CBS's parent company.
Yeah, reports that they might be tweaking their DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. This actually came up in relation to their potential merger with Skydance, stuff they had to file with the FCC. So there's this high-level corporate talk happening.
Okay, so corporate stuff might be shifting,
Yeah.
but Tannenbaum.
His take, boots on the ground, is pretty clear. He said, quote, "From my perspective, nothing's changed."
Wow, nothing's changed. That's quite definitive, especially with that corporate noise in the background. So why the continued commitment from his end? Is it just orders or more than that?
It seems like both, but he really emphasizes the personal conviction. He said he always, in the back of his mind, felt we need more diversity even before the mandate.
So he saw the value already.
Yeah. And he talks about how beautiful it is to see the applicant pool grow when people see themselves represented on screen. It encourages more people, a wider range of people, to apply.
It creates a positive feedback loop. Better representation leads to a richer talent pool.
Exactly. It's not just about hitting a number. It's about enriching the show with different perspectives and experiences, and it fuels his ability to find compelling people.
And it sounds like this isn't just a temporary boost either. The pipeline is strong.
Apparently so. Tannenbaum described the applicant pool for seasons 51 and 52 as insane. So the interest is there, the quality is there, and the commitment from casting seems solid.
That's good to hear. And he also mentioned how this brings different kinds of stories to the show, right? More than just strategy.
Totally. He pointed to examples from season 48, like Mitch Guerra, who dealt with a stutter and applied for years. His story was about resilience.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Eva Erickson, who's on the spectrum, and had that really touching moment with Joe Hunter. It showed genuine human connection, empathy, stuff you don't always get on reality TV.
Right.
Tannenbaum's point was that these important conversations happen on Survivor that some shows just don't hit. It elevates the show beyond just a game.
It makes it more of a social experiment again, reflecting real life, real people.
Yeah.
And this work, this focus on casting, it's actually been recognized formally now.
Huge deal. Survivor got its first ever Emmy nomination for Outstanding Casting for a reality program this year.
Wow, first ever. That's big.
Yeah, it's major recognition for Tannenbaum and his team, acknowledging the craft involved. Reality TV casting often gets overlooked, so it's a significant nod.
And the show got other nominations too, right? For the program itself, for Probst.
Yep. It suggests the whole production is firing on all cylinders, and casting is seen as a key part of that renewed success and quality.
That's fantastic validation. But, getting an Emmy nom is one thing. Does it mean the whole industry is changing? Or is Survivor kind of an outlier still? Complicated, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely complicated. Which leads us right into the fan perspective, segment 3. Because while the mandate gets praise, it also sparks a lot of debate online, especially places like Reddit.
Yeah, you see some really strong opinions. What are the main arguments?
While on one side, you have fans who really champion the mandate. They'll point to a season like Survivor 43.
Go back in there.
Even though some women of color, like Mariah and Nanika, were voted out early, there was still a lot of racial diversity left later in the game, especially post-merge.
Unlike some older seasons.
Right. They contrast it with, say, season 33, where after a bunch of early POC boots, the merge was almost entirely white contestants. So the argument is the mandate prevents that, ensures diversity throughout the season.
So it helps the show actually live up to that original Borneo idea, bringing different walks of life together for the whole game, not just the first few episodes.
Exactly. It makes diversity more than just window dressing at the start. But then you get the counter arguments.
Okay, like what?
A big one is the perception that women, especially women of color and older players, are often seen as weaker in challenges. And in the early game, tribes often vote based on challenge strength to avoid going to tribal.
Right, the keep the tribe strong mentality.
Yeah. And some fans even joke about the M curse, this theory that women whose names start with M get voted out early disproportionately.
The M curse. That's hilarious, but also kind of points to people trying to find patterns in who goes home early, right? Maybe questioning if it's just about strength.
It highlights that tension. And some argue the game's structure itself contributes, like the 3-tribe format they often use now.
Smaller tribes, bigger impact if you lose.
Exactly. And the faster 26-day game, it pushes tribes to prioritize challenge strength even more, potentially hurting those perceived as weaker, regardless of their social or strategic skills.
So game mechanics might be unintentionally amplifying certain biases or perceptions.
That's the argument. And it feeds into this bigger debate. Is Survivor just a game, totally separate from the real world? Or is it impossible to separate it from society?
The "it's just a game" versus "it reflects society" debate.
Right. Some say nobody votes people out because they're black, it's just strategy. Others argue, come on, subconscious biases exist. And when you see certain groups consistently voted out early, it feels like it reflects those real-world issues.
It's a tricky one. And then there's the simple math argument, right? If you have more people of color on the cast,
Then statistically, more people of color will also be voted out over the season. That's just probability. It doesn't automatically mean bias is the only factor in every vote.
fair enough. What other criticisms pop up in fan discussions?
Well, there's the villain problem some people talk about. A nostalgia for older seasons with really out there characters like Coach or Brian Heidick.
The ones who weren't afraid to be controversial or cutthroat.
Exactly. Some feel recent casts are maybe a bit too nice, too self-aware, less confrontational. Part of that might be producers being more cautious after things like the Dan Spilo incident in season 39.
Yeah, the inappropriate touching. Understandable they'd want to avoid anything like that again.
Definitely. So there's a balance between wanting dramatic characters and ensuring player safety and, frankly, avoiding PR nightmares. But it leads to some fans feeling the casts lack that edge.
It's a tough line to walk. Drama versus safety. What about the definition of diversity itself? Does that come up?
Oh, yeah. The conversation around biracial contestants, for example. People like Jay, Devin, Victoria, half Latino, half white. Do they count towards the 50% PIPOC target?
And the fact that Latino isn't a race, it's an ethnicity, and many Latinos identify as white, it gets complicated.
Very. It challenges those neat demographic boxes. How do you categorize people with mixed heritage? How do they identify? It brings up nuanced questions about self-identification versus external labels.
And some fans look back historically, right?
Yeah.
Saying Survivor is actually pretty diverse early on.
Yeah, some argue it was pretty damn inclusive from the start, pointing to early winners or casts that might have overrepresented certain minority groups compared to the U.S. population back then, so they question if the 50% mandate is necessary, or maybe even skews things too much now.
It forces a look at what representation actually means and aims for. Proportional. Correcting past underrepresentation. It's complex.
And the final critique you sometimes hear is about diversity of thought.
Meaning,
Okay, you have racial diversity, but do you have genuinely different perspectives, personalities, life approaches? Or do you end up with a cast that looks diverse, but kind of thinks or plays the game similarly, leading to maybe more generic storylines?
so diversity needs to be more than skin deep to make
Mhm.
for really compelling TV. That's a fair point.
It is. But amidst all this debate, you absolutely have to acknowledge the successes. The diversity initiative has undeniably led to some great outcomes.
Like recent winners.
Exactly. You had Marianne Oketch win season 42, young black woman, one with this really authentic emotional game. And Erica Kasapanen in season 41, Filipina-Canadian, played this amazing, under-the-radar, strategic game.
2 women of color winning back-to-back in the new era. That's significant.
Hugely significant. It shows diverse casting isn't just about checking boxes. It enables different kinds of stories, different paths to victory, and provides those powerful role models. It enriches the whole show.
That's a great way to look at it. The mandate's impact is clearly complex, sparking necessary conversations, which is often what happens with real change. Okay, let's shift gears completely. From the island to, well, somewhere much more luxurious usually.
Time for the Housewives.
Exactly. Another reality TV empire, the Real Housewives franchise. Totally different beast, different casting, different everything. Debuted way back in 2006 with Orange County.
And now it's everywhere. Dozens of U.S. cities, international versions, Sydney, Dubai, and London's coming up. It's incredible how it keeps expanding.
It really is. And the genius of the real plot twist, as the sources call it, it's not really about marriage, is it?
Not at all, despite the name. It's tapped into this incredibly powerful narrative. Midlife reinvention for women mostly over 40.
Yeah, navigating divorce, grief, building businesses, finding themselves again, and yeah, maybe chasing a bit of fame too.
Absolutely. And Andy Cohen gets that credit, right? The only man in Hollywood who hires women over 40. It gives a platform to stories and a demographic often ignored by mainstream media. Bold, messy, entertaining stories.
It really does. They're redefining themselves, often in these very public, very luxe settings.
Yeah.
And unlike Survivor, where people come and go, Housewives creates icons.
That's a key difference. It fosters long-term investment. You follow these women for years, sometimes decades. You see the ups, the downs, the kids growing up.
Friendships exploding and then maybe repairing. or not?
Exactly. It becomes weekly event television, like a real-life soap opera, and the fan community is intense.
Oh, totally. Debating who's right, who's wrong, sharing the memes. It creates this shared language.
It's a huge part of the appeal, that feeling of community, of being invested together in these women's lives. It's more than just a show. It's a cultural touchstone for its fans.
Definitely. You can drop a Housewives reference and people instantly get it. Okay, let's do a quick tour. Each city has its own flavor, right?
Oh, completely distinct.
Right.
Beverly Hills, that's the bitchy opulence. Think Lisa Vanderpump's Villa Rosa, everything pink, the diamonds, the status symbols, are almost characters themselves.
The drama there feels very high stakes, social maneuvering.
Totally. Then you had original New York. That was just truly wild, unpredictable, often hilarious. Ramona Singer's eyes, Countess Luann's money can't buy you class.
An absolute classic. Perfectly captured that, like, aspirational but slightly tone-deaf vibe sometimes. So chaotic, so good.
Right. But if you're talking pure entertainment, shade, comedy,
Atlanta's often called the peak, right?
Yeah.
A masterclass in shade and comedic brilliance.
Absolutely. Phaedra Parks delivering those devastatingly calm reads, Kim Zolciak and her wigs, Kenya Moore stewing the pot, though she crossed a line eventually with that whole revenge porn thing.
Yeah, that got really ugly. Shows the risk.
It does. But Atlanta also gave us Nene Leakes genuine star power. She crossed over into acting glee Broadway. That's rare for a reality star. Shows the platform's potential.
Atlanta just nailed casting those huge personalities. But it's not all just shade and reads. Sometimes real-world darkness intrudes, like with Salt Lake City.
Oh man, Salt Lake City came in hot right away with that Jen Shaw scandal. Federal indictment, arrest, guilty plea for wire fraud.
All while portraying this super lavish life on TV. The contrast was wild.
And then the updates. Serving time alongside Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos. Paparazzi pics of them in prison. You couldn't make it up.
Just unbelievable. And the drama kept coming on the show too, right?
Oh.
The black eye mystery.
Yeah, Heather Gay's black eye, allegedly caused by Jen Shaw. More layers of drama, potential violence. But SLC also showed vulnerability. Mary Cosby sharing her son's struggle with addiction.
Important conversations happening even amidst the chaos and designer labels.
Exactly. It shows the franchise can handle heavy stuff too, these real human struggles, alongside the table flips and taglines.
And the Housewives universe extends beyond the main shows, right?
Yeah.
Spin-offs, viral moments.
Definitely. You had Next Gen NYC, Condi Show, Condi and the Gang, Kim Zolciak's Don't Be Tardy. But the biggest viral moment probably came from a spinoff. Vanderpump Rules.
Scandal.
Sandoval. Bravo's most viral betrayal to date. Tom Sandoval cheating on Ariana Madix with Raquel Leviss.
It wasn't just a TV storyline. It was everywhere. People were tracking timelines, dissecting Instagram posts. It was a cultural moment.
Absolutely massive. Ratings went through the roof. But it also completely changed the cast's careers, especially Ariana.
She became this icon of empowerment, right? Turned betrayal into brand deal.
Totally. Landed huge opportunities, became this beloved figure. It showed the insane power of these shows to create narratives that just explode into the real world and reshape lives.
Proof that reality TV can still dominate the cultural conversation.
Yeah.
And the franchise keeps evolving, right? Cities getting makeovers.
Constantly tinkering. New York went for that younger influencer era recast, total reboot. Atlanta brought back Portia, elevated Shemaya, trying to refresh things. Orange County is mixing OGs with newer faces.
Trying to find that balance between the familiar and the fresh.
Always. It's about keeping it relevant, keeping viewers engaged, without losing the core magic.
And the empire keeps growing. London's next.
Yep, Real Housewives of London. 6 women reportedly already know each other, which is usually good for drama. Got Juliette Angus from Ladies of London back.
A familiar face. Who else?
Amanda Cronin, skincare CEO, already looks like a potential villain in the trailer. Karen Loderick-Pierce, fashion background, pegged as the confessional queen. Panthea Parker apparently drops 140-page shopping without blinking. And Nessie Welshinger, financier turned baker, calls herself a tiger mom.
Okay, sound like a potent mix. Stiff upper lip meets crazy housewives, as one of them say.
That's the promise. High society, high drama, but with that British sensibility.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see how it translates. A whole new world for fans to dive into.
What a journey, really. From Survivor's Islands to the Housewives' mansions, we've covered a lot of ground on reality TV casting.
We really have. We unpacked Survivor 49, how it's both its own season and the strategic setup for the big 50th anniversary. Then we dove into that huge shift in Survivor casting, the diversity initiative, its origins, the debates, the impact.
And finally toured the Real Housewives empire. how it built icons by focusing on midlife stories, creating these intense fan communities, and delivering those unforgettable cultural moments, good and bad.
It's all about the casting. At the end of the day, who they choose shapes everything.
It really does. So when you think about how these shows are put together, what stands out to you, whether you love Survivor Strategy or the Housewives drama, those casting choices really dictate the stories we get, the conversations we have.
Totally. It shapes how we see success, survival, identity, even relationships, all played out on our screens. It reflects what we value or maybe what we're fascinated by, even if it's messy.
So here's a final thought to chew on. As reality TV keeps changing, pushing boundaries, casting differently, how do you think it's going to keep shaping our understanding of all this? Identity strategy, what survival even means on an island in high society or just, in life.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what kind of characters, what kind of stories will dominate our screens in the next, say, 20 years? And maybe more importantly, what will those stories say about us? What parts of ourselves will we see reflected back? What's the next big narrative waiting to be cast?